Hello, hello. Today here at The Science of People, we're doing a productivity video. But this isn't your typical productivity. We don't do anything typical at the Science of People lab. My name is Vanessa and I'm lead investigator at our Human Behavior Research Lab. Today I want to teach you one of my favorite hacks all about atypical productivity with something that I like to call alphabet work. Here's how it works. Everyone excels at different types of work. Some people are creative and spontaneous, others like routines and details and to-do lists. I like to think about productivity in terms of tasks, not time. So let me just break this down first to give you the overview before I give you examples. First thing you want to think about is everyone has A work. So their A work, just like in school, is the work that got them A's. They're really good at it, they hit their flow, they're super productive and efficient. It's their favorite kind of work and they're the best at it, maybe even better than most other people in their workplace. The next kind of work is called B work. So this is like what would have gotten you a B in school. It's pretty good and you can get it done, but you're not the best in class. You're not super productive. You have to work just a little bit harder. The next kind of work is your C work. Now this is just average. You get the average grade, you can kind of spend average amount of time on it. You can get by, but you certainly do not excel at it. The last two kinds of work, I bet you guessed it, you know your alphabet, D and F work, just like in school. So D and F work means not passing grade. This is the kind of work that you dread. Your D work is the stuff that you put off, and if you do it, you make a lot of mistakes, it takes you way longer, and you try to push it off or procrastinate on it. Now, the worst of all, and hopefully you're not doing any of this work, is your F work. Your F work is the stuff that you're actually bad at. You get it wrong. Not only do you dread it, but you can't really do it. You have to kind of fib or flub your way through it. It's the work that we should all avoid. Here's the problem. When we think about our to-do lists or our productivity, we usually think about timing. We think, do I have time for this task? Or we ask our team, who has time to do task A? What I would much rather us do is think about productivity and to-do lists in terms of skills. So when you ask yourself, do I have time for this task? A better question is this my A work? And when you're talking to your team about tasks, you can split it up based on skills. So you can ask, is this someone's A work? That's a much better way to get to someone's best work as opposed to what time they have. Let's go into the different steps about how you can implement alphabet work on your team with your to-do list. Step number 1, your top tasks. I want you to sit down and write down every task you do in the average week. I would pick the top 10 to 15. If you can, write down all of these on different Post-it notes. You can even put them in order of how much to how little you do. So for example, I spend a lot of time every week on emails and writing blogs, on video scripts, on creating courses. Those are my top few. At the bottom, the tasks that I only do occasionally are creating graphics, checking social, filing, and bills. So write down everything you do and rank them by most time to least time. Step number 2, do your alphabet. So now look at all your tasks and begin to break them down into your A, B, C, D, F work. So for example, my A work, the work that I love to do, that's my favorite, that I'm super productive at, writing blogs and let's say creating courses. This is my favorite work. I hit flow, I love doing it, it makes me super productive. My B work, the work I'm kind of good at, but I'm not best in the world by any means, would be email. I'm pretty fast, but it's not my favorite. And video scripts. I like writing video scripts, but they can get a little bit tedious. And I like marketing strategy, but it's not my favorite. So it's my B work. Now C work. This is what I'm average at. It's a little clunky, it's a little slow, it's not my favorite, but I can do it. So my C work, team calls. I tend to be a little bit introverted and I get really in my head as I work. Other C work, editing videos. I can do it, but believe me, you don't want to see my editing skills. And checking social. I've never been super into Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, but I can check it occasionally and it's okay. D and F work. So D work for me is almost exclusively any kind of paperwork. Filing, bills, opening the mail. Oh, I just find it so tedious, My F work. This is the work I should never do. And if you ask my team, they would completely agree with you. My F work is creating graphics. I am terrible at any kind of graphic design, colors, images. That is my F work, and it should be avoided at all cost. So yours is going to be a little longer than this. I only stuck to about 10 so that I could keep it short for the video. But you should have this completely full. Fill in these columns as much as possible with all of your weekly tasks. Step number 3, do your team's alphabet. So if you can, have a team member write down their weekly tasks in a different color post-it and also put it on your A, B, C, D, F work. So for example, this is my business partner, Scott. I had him do the exact same thing for the purpose of this video. So his A work is actually my B work, right? So SEO and marketing. His B work, web design, graphics. So he's a little better at graphics than me. C work, so community management, video editing. Notice that both of us have video editing on our C column. D, creating courses, social media, and his F work is student support. A little more introverted, he's always behind the scenes. This way, you can have a really robust discussion about where your strengths lie on a team. Hopefully you can do this with your team member, but you could also do it on your own, imagining what you think their A, B, C, D, F work is. I highly recommend getting different colors for each person so you can clearly see where most of your strengths lie. You might even do this on a board and realize, oh my goodness, everyone's doing their B work. There's no C and D work. Or everyone's doing F work and there's very little A work. It will also help you see patterns of similar strengths and different strengths. Step number 4, optimize for alphabet work. So now that you've seen the patterns, you've talked to your teammates, how can you optimize your to-do lists and your schedules and your tasks for people's A work? In other words, I want you to ask the following questions. First, can you give people more of their A work? So could Scott shift over to me so I can get some of his B work and take it from him? Can I give him more of my B work so it's his A work? Next, for B work, can you segment B work? So it's not our best work, but we can do it. Is there a way on your daily to-do list where you save your B work for either the afternoon when you're less productive or one day a week, or you team up and do it together and collaborate? That way you're still doing it, but you're not letting it take your optimal day productivity times. C work. So C work is a little bit tricky because remember that it's just your average work. I like to think to myself with C and D work, can I outsource my C and D work? Is there a new team member we can hire? Is there a contractor we can hire? Can we make some way that we're not having to spend a lot of time on our work that doesn't fulfill us, that we're not best at? This exercise made us realize that since editing videos was both my business partner Scott and I's C work, neither of us should be spending time doing it. And so we realized we had to make sure that we found someone else where that was their A work. And this is the most important thing about C and D work. You don't want to give your C and D work to someone else who also it's their C and D work. You want to find someone who loves video editing, who loves team calls, who loves checking social, because that way you're giving them their A work and you have more time for your A work. The last one, F work, and this is pretty much the most important question, is how can at all costs I avoid doing any F work? You want to make sure that no one on your team is ever doing their F work because that drags on them, it drains energy, and it makes it even harder for them to do their A and B work. A little bonus for you to think about here is doing this with your family members, with your colleagues, with your soccer team. Practice this kind of activity with everyone in your life. The reason for this is because you want everyone in your life doing their best work. Not based on time, but based on skills. You want everyone in these two columns where they're in flow and productivity and happy with their day. So I really challenge you to know everyone in your life's A, B, C, and D, and F work. I'm curious to know what's your A work in the comments. Tell me what you thrive at, what you're most productive at, and then how can you maximize that in your life. I hope you like this little exercise, and I hope that you'll do alphabet work with yourself and your team. Right now, send this video to your team, to your partner, to your colleagues, or watch it together in your next meeting and then go through the exercise. I hope I can help you have a really productive conversation with everyone you work with.